The night begins in absolute stillness. Not the peaceful kind, not the kind that settles over quiet homes or late evening streets. This silence is different, thick, suffocating, as if the world itself is holding its breath. Inside the Lexington mansion, 40 rooms sleep under the glow of gold chandeliers, but one glows faintly with a small bedside lamp. A 7-year-old boy, Adrian Lexington, sits rigidly on his bed. Tears tremble in his eyes. His small hands shake as he taps the side of his right ear again and again and again. He cannot hear the tapping, he has never heard anything, but tonight something is different. Across the room, a young maid named Maria Acaro quietly folds his clothes. She is the only person who notices the boy's trembling, the only one who sees the panic rising behind his normally distant gaze. She walks toward him slowly, softly. Her steps make no sound, not to his ears, but tonight not even to hers. The air feels strange in this room, heavy, charged. Adrian's hands begin to move rapidly in sign language. The signs are frantic, desperate. One word appears again and again. Inside, Maria freezes. She has seen him tap his ear out of discomfort before, but never like this, never with fear. She kneels beside him, her hands gentle as she cups his head. When she shifts his hair aside, she sees it, almost invisible under the lamplight. A smear of something dark, something like ash, just inside the ear canal. Something she has seen for weeks without understanding. Tonight, the sight sends a cold prickle down her spine. She breathes deeply, steadying herself. She takes a clean cloth. She reaches in carefully, slowly. And what she pulls out does not belong in the human body. A small, black, rigid object, warm, pulsing faintly like something alive, lies on the cloth. It twitches once, twice. Maria's heart slams against her ribs. And then, the boy gasps. A sound, raw and shaky, bursts from his throat for the first time in his life. Maria's breath catches. Adrian's eyes widen in pure shock as the world explodes around him. The rustling sheets, the whoosh of the air vent, Maria's own panicked exhale. Sounds he has never known, crashing into him like a tidal wave. He clamps his hands over his ears, overwhelmed. Tears spill down his cheeks. Maria is already screaming for help. Her voice ricochets through the mansion. Daniel Lexington, the billionaire father who has spent years drowning in unanswered questions, is the first to arrive. He stops in the doorway as if struck by lightning. His son, his silent, unreachable son, is reacting to sound, crying from sound, breathing because of sound. On the floor, the black object trembles like something mechanical, or biological, or both. Something no doctor ever found, something not from this world. Something someone placed in him long ago. Tonight everything changes. The mansion that once held only silence now hums with fear, awakening, and the first spark of truth. If you enjoy powerful true-to-life stories like this, please consider subscribing. I spent countless hours crafting this one for you, and your support means a lot.
The Lexington estate sits on 20 acres of manicured gardens and private isolation. It appears serene, prestigious, almost untouchable. But the real story lies behind the glossy gates, inside a family polished for cameras yet fraying at its edges. Daniel Lexington, a self-made billionaire whose empire spans continents, has spent years trying to fix the unfixable. No amount of wealth has allowed him to hear the voice of his son. No specialist, no experimental therapy, no cutting-edge neurologist could explain why Adrian was born into a world of absolute silence despite perfect scans. Helena, Adrian's mother, slips further into emotional distance. For her, public perfection holds more comfort than private imperfection. Her son's silence becomes a mirror she avoids. And Adrian, he grows in a world carved in loneliness. He sees lips moving. He sees emotions shifting like storms behind the eyes, but he never hears the words that carry them. He communicates with signs, gestures, the careful language of watching. And every night, faint black flakes gather silently on his pillow. The adults ignore it. He tries to ignore it too, but it's always there, his unspoken companion. Then comes Maria. She is not like the others. She kneels to his height. She signs slowly, patiently. She smiles with kindness untouched by money. Her presence becomes a lifeline for the boy, one of the few things that makes his world feel less heavy. And yet, even she cannot see the storm building beneath his stillness. If you were in this situation, what's the first thing you would feel? Maria begins learning sign language late at night after her shifts. Her hands cramp, her eyes burn, but she persists. Because she sees something in Adrian no one else sees, a quiet yearning for connection. Her kindness becomes a small crack in the mansion's coldness. She notices details the others miss, the way Adrian flinches at invisible sensations in his right ear, the tiny tremors in his fingertips when pressure builds, the dark smudges wiped secretly onto pillowcases. The doctors call it behavioral, his parents call it phases, Maria calls it pain. One day, when Adrian shudders from another unseen disturbance, Maria places a warm hand on his back. He relaxes instantly, his breathing slowing. A small act of comfort, almost accidental, becomes a moment of transformation. But shadows linger. Night after night, the black flakes increase. Night after night, the boy's distress deepens. Small kindness begins to collide with growing dread. Adrian's episodes grow more frequent. He wakes in terror. He presses both hands against his right ear until his skin reddens. Maria advocates for him, but her voice carries little weight in a mansion built on hierarchy. She becomes the quiet storm, fighting softly, gently, persistently. Daniel buries himself in work to numb the pain of helplessness. Helena disappears behind designer appearances and curated smiles. Then the boy stops sleeping through the night. His world begins to fracture. Maria digs deeper, searching for clues. She examines the flakes under light, noticing their unnatural sheen, neither organic nor dust. The doctors dismiss her concerns. But she cannot dismiss what she sees. And then comes the night the boy trembles violently, tapping his ear so hard she fears he'll bruise himself. She holds him close, feeling his tiny heartbeat hammer against her palm. Fear knits itself into the story now, quiet, creeping, undeniable. This is the night everything changes. When Adrian jerks upward from bed, clutching his ear with both hands, his face contorts with pain Maria has never seen before. Something inside him moves, almost visibly. Maria doesn't hesitate. She doesn't call a doctor. She doesn't freeze. Her instinct is a shield. She cradles his head and leans close, seeing the faint smear of black just inside the ear canal, a detail others missed for years. Her breath shakes, her hands steady. She reaches inside with the cloth, gently, carefully. And then she feels it, something hard, foreign, pulsing against her fingers. She pulls. A black object emerges onto the cloth, twitching like something alive. A shiver travels up her spine. And then, the boy breathes in sound. His first gasp is a cracking of the world, a raw, trembling sound he doesn't understand and cannot control. Maria cries, Adrian cries, the world wakes. This act, simple, instinctive, born of pure kindness, remakes everything. Daniel races into the room. Helena follows moments later, frozen in disbelief. Their son, who has never reacted to sound, is covering his ears in sensory overload, crying from a world too loud and too new. Doctors arrive. Security arrives, chaos blooms. The black object is examined. It is not biological, nor is it a device any medical professional recognizes. It resembles a micro-scale implant, one not made for healing, but designed to interfere. Daniel's world tilts. Someone did this. Someone chose silence for his son. Security footage, birth records, old staff files, all come under review. Secrets begin to surface. Family ties strain. The household fractures under the weight of truth. Maria stays by Adrian's side. She is his anchor in this storm. And slowly, the boy begins to hear, the rustle of wind, the murmur of voices, the soft tremble of his own laughter. Kindness becomes healing. Weeks pass. The house once filled with silence now hums with healing. Adrian learns sounds slowly, like tasting life for the first time. Daniel and Helena change too. Their walls crack. Their priorities shift. Maria becomes not just a caretaker, but a central figure in their son's rebirth. Investigations continue, but the heart of the story no longer lies in the mystery. It lies in the miracle that emerged from kindness. Adrian laughs now. He hears, he grows, and every time he does, Maria smiles a smile that reshapes the world. This story is not about wealth, not about fear, not even about the strange object that stole a child's sense of sound. It's about the simple truth that one act of kindness, brave, instinctive, compassionate, can change a life forever. If this story touched you, please share your thoughts in the comments. Your voice makes these stories come alive.